takes a little while for people that have been trained to only look at the physical to break away from that and include the non-physical energy as well, because a high degree of focus on the physical reality creates an ego structure that, if it is removed from the physical reality, panics, because it thinks the physical reality is the only place that exists, and if all of a sudden you start forcing the ego structure that has been physically focused to look at non-physical reality, it thinks it's dying, because it doesn't understand that non-physical reality is just as real as physical reality. That is the reluctance that you are experiencing in your society. Understand?
Yes.
Does that assist you?
Yes, it does.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, too. Thank you.
Shedding.
Hi, Bashar.
Oh, good day to you. Good New Year.
Happy and exciting New Year
Yes,
to you,
yes,
too.
yes, yes, yes.
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 Okay, something came up for me,
Oh, yes.
which was an old thought pattern.
Oh, all right.
And what's been happening?
One moment.
Okay.
One moment.
Yeah.
But since you are now a new you, it isn't really the same, not really the identical old thought pattern, because now you are a new you looking at it from a perspective you have never looked at it from before.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yes, I understand.
So recognize that there really is, even if it may seem subtle, there really is a difference between the thought pattern you are looking at now and the thought pattern as it actually existed back then.
Mm-hmm.
But do continue.
Okay. About 3.5 years ago,
Yes.
I had a really vivid dream, and what happened was a spaceship came down and picked me up, and they pulled me away from my friends who I was with,
Yes.
pulled me into the spaceship, and they pinned me up to all these like computer-like machines that I had never seen before, and they pinned electrodes over my whole body.
Yes.
And they apologized to me as they were doing it, and they started giving me electric shock treatment.
Yes.
And as they were doing this, they said to me, "We apologize for doing this, but you're not moving as fast as you have agreed to move.
Yes.
So we have to do this to speed up your growth and
Yes.
your movement," okay? So the next morning, two of my roommates told me that they had had a dream that a spaceship had come and picked me
Yes.
up.
Yes.
And then a week and a half later,
Yes.
I was shooting a film, and
Did it die?
no, but my physical body nearly did.
Oh, all right.
I was skydiving, and I wasn't a stunt person, and I landed in rocks, and I almost died. It was like...
Well, I'll bet that accelerated you.
Yeah. So what happened, like everything in both of my legs
Yes.
was, especially the right side, had 2 casts on, and my right foot was hanging off, and this leg was shattered.
Oh, all right.
And
That's breaking up those old belief systems.
yeah.
Those old foundations.
Yes, I mean,
Now, you didn't have to do it that way.
I know.
But you are very bold.
And yeah, I know. See, then in the hospital,
Yes.
I had another dream that
Yes.
space people came down and like lifted me up. I was in a lot of pain, and
Yes.
even the morphine didn't take the pain away. And so they lifted me up, and I felt this like white healing light
Yes.
through this glass cabinet, like just surrounding me. And I was terrified because the doctors were telling me that I was going to be crippled, and I'm a dancer, and they told me that I might never walk again.
I see.
And stuff like this. And then
Yes.
I was in a depression, and I wouldn't talk to anyone. I wouldn't talk to the doctors. And then
Yes,
suddenly
you were reevaluating who and what you really were.
I made up my mind that I wasn't going to listen to the doctors, and I would
thank you.
change everything.
All right.
And that, and it continued for a long, long time, and I just kept on.
Yes.
Going, you know, I got out the cast and I just,
Oh.
I got through the whole thing.
Conviction.
And
yes.
before I could even walk properly, I went into dance class.
Yes.
And I started dancing even when I couldn't walk. And through the dancing, I was able to heal myself.
Yes.
And the doctors would still tell me that I was going to be crippled, and that I was crippled and that I couldn't dance.
Well, they had made a big investment in that reality, you know.
But one of the things that's coming up now is because I'm still involved in litigation. It's 3.5 years later, and the pain is still there. And
all right.
it's like the pain actually has got worse. But I mean, I run, and I can't run like a runner. Like
All right.
But it's like it's coming up for me again.
Yes. Stop.
Uh-huh.
Now, it is not coming up again. It is completely newly created.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense, because you are placing yourself in circumstances which, by definition, involve conflict. You know who you are and who you desire to be.
Mm-hmm.
They believe they know who they are and who they desire to be. All the circumstances that you have experienced, you have created to get you to the understandings you have now, to the recognitions you have now, to the clarity of the issues and the definitions within you that you are now beginning to discover. A suggestion,
Mm-hmm.
just on a lifestyle level,
Uh-huh.
would be to ask you first of all, can you let the past circumstance go? Can you let the circumstance that brought you to where you are be a part of the life that was necessary, that you at that time obviously believed was necessary to get you to where you are now? Can you, in that sense, not blame those circumstances on anyone?
I don't blame anybody for
All right.
anything.
May I ask you why you are, in your terms, in litigation?
Because,
Yes.
because
Yes.
I guess because because
Yes.
I was in a lot of physical pain, and that's how this
Yes.
world works. And
Whose world? Whose world? What kind of a world do you prefer it to be? I understand, before you go on, let me explain. I understand this may seem hard for you.
the money could never fix the physical pain.
Well then, do you need it?
Oh, I see. You're helping me to let go.
Yes.
I see.
You see, many times, holding on to the circumstances that brought you to where you are, now there can be differences. It doesn't have to happen this way across the board, as you say. Not all situations are going to be the same. But what we are perceiving now within you is that holding on to those circumstances is what creates you to remain at the place you're at. Because in a sense, you have a vested interest in maintaining the pain. Because if you don't maintain the pain, who can you blame in the litigation? Well, Your Honor, I'm just fine. Well, then what's this all about? Understand?
Yeah, I understand. However,
Yes.
I did this because there was a workman's compensation part to this.
It does not
I
matter what
did
kind
this.
of definitions you put on these ideas. Again, the idea can be shown. And we do not mean to refute that some of the avenues your world has set up do not work for some individuals. But for what you are going for what you are shooting for, the idea of compensation is not the full expression of who you want to be. You are, in that sense, compensating. You are wanting to be compensated externally rather than internally. The idea is to understand that if you no longer need to hold on to the idea of pain to convince someone that you should be compensated, then the pain will serve no purpose for you.